We are reading the chapter 18 of text, text 46. So I'm not sure if we finished.
We're on the second paragraph.
Second paragraph. Okay,
everyone should think. Yeah.
Thank you. Everyone should think that he's engaged in a particular type of occupation by Rishikesh, the master of the senses. And by the result of work which is of the work in which one is engaged, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, should be worshipped. And we spoke about this yesterday. How whatever work we do, we should connect that work to Krishna. We should offer the result of work to Krishna because he's the one who's giving us all the material ingredients to work with. He's giving us the intelligence and the ability to complete that work. And something happens is by his sanction. We are able to successfully complete the work is because his sanction is there. If one thinks always in this way in full Krishna consciousness, then by the grace of the Lord, he becomes fully aware of everything. That is the perfection of life. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 12.7, Tesham aham samudharta. The Supreme Lord himself takes charge of delivering such a devotee. That is the highest perfection of life. In whatever occupation one may be engaged, if he serves the Supreme Lord, he will achieve the highest perfection. So if we want to have the highest perfection of life, we should connect ourselves to Krishna. We should relate all our work to Krishna. We should offer the results of our work to Krishna. And then what Krishna says, he delivers the devotee. He delivers the devotee. We are trying to get perfection in so many areas of our work, it could be so many things, each aspect of our personality, we are trying to get perfection. Even through our work, whatever it could be our career, it could be our housework, or anything that we do, we're trying to get perfection. But what's the ultimate perfection is? To become Krishna conscious. And how to achieve that? By chanting the holy name. Chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Text 47. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swa anushtitat swabhava niyatam karma kurvam napnoti kilbisham. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions. One's occupational duty is prescribed in Bhagavad Gita. As already discussed in previous verses, the duties of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra are prescribed according to their particular modes of nature. One should not imitate another's duty. A man who is by nature attracted to the kind of work done by Shudras should not artificially claim to be a Brahmana, although he may have been born into a Brahmana family. So here Krishna is saying, work according to your nature. Doesn't matter which family you're born in. And in that way, you are going to get your perfection. If you are attracted to work like a Shudra, then you do that work of a Shudra. Don't artificially do the work of a Brahmana. In this way, one should work according to his own nature. No work is abominable if performed in the service of the Supreme Lord. And anyway, whatever work we do, we should connect it to Krishna, relate it to Krishna. I'm in this position, somehow or the other, I'm in this position. It's my duty to act in this particular way. Let me do it the best way for the pleasure of Krishna, because Krishna will be pleased for me to do my duty well. And if we do our duty, if we perform our work and duty in that way, we will be able to perform it even better. In a better way, we will be able to perform it. So, the occupational duty of a Brahmana is certainly in the mode of goodness. But if a person is not by nature in the mode of goodness, he should not imitate the occupational duty of a Brahmana. For a Kshatriya or administrator, there are so many abominable things. A Kshatriya has to be violent to kill his enemies. And sometimes a Kshatriya has to tell lies for the sake of diplomacy. Such violence and duplicity accompany political affairs. But a Kshatriya is not supposed to give up his occupational duty and try to perform the duties of a Brahmana. Why? Why is Krishna saying that you do your work according to your nature? That is your dharma then. Doesn't matter which family you're born in. If I'm born in a family of a doctor, and my father is a doctor, and then I am not interested to be a doctor, I want to be an engineer, then I should become an engineer and not become a doctor, because that's how I can do my work properly. I can be happy and peaceful and actually serve in that capacity well. Otherwise, I won't be able to, I will myself be unhappy. And because I'm unhappy, I will work not in a nice way, and then others will be unhappy. So to maintain the peace and happiness in society, Krishna is saying, you work according to your nature. For example, Prabhupada is pointing out the Kshatriyas or the administrators. Now we can see that practically almost all the leaders, do they actually have the Kshatriya qualities? Because if they did, then the world wouldn't be in such a chaotic situation. And then the general people wouldn't be so much more anxious, Like Bhagavatam says, everybody is born a Shudra, and then we Shudras are giving, we are by vote, we are just appointing another Shudra to administrate, to become the leaders of society. And that's the reason the society is in such a chaotic situation. Does that make sense? That work according to your nature? Krishna is repeating this point because Arjuna is telling him that I'm going to go to the forest. But Arjuna is saying, you do your duty. You are a Kshatriya. You are not yet come to the level of being a Brahmana that you will sit in the forest. If you artificially say, right now, I will not fight. I'm going to go and sit in the forest. I'm going to beg. But because your nature is that of a Kshatriya, you will be so unhappy, and that nature will force you to act in the way of a Kshatriya. So now you're refusing to fight, but later, because of your nature, you will fight. And later when you fight, then, why don't you fight now and do the right thing? Do the right thing now. One should act to satisfy the Supreme Lord. For example, Arjuna was a Kshatriya. He was hesitating to fight the other party. But if such fighting is performed for the sake of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there need be no fear of degradation. In the business field also, sometimes a merchant has to tell so many lies to make a profit. If he does not do so, there can be no profit. Sometimes a merchant says, oh, my dear customer, for you I am making no profit. But one should know that without profit, the merchant cannot exist. Therefore, it should be taken as a simple lie if a merchant says that he's not making a profit. But the merchant should not think that because he's engaged in an occupation in which the telling of lies is compulsory, he should give up his profession and pursue the profession of a Brahmana. That is not recommended. Whether one is a Kshatriya, Vaishya, or a Shudra doesn't matter if he serves by his work the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It doesn't matter what occupation we are in. We should just work according to our nature. Work according to our nature. Now, many people say that Krishna, he encouraged Arjuna to fight, and so he's going to incur sinful reactions. No, Arjuna is acting according to his nature. He is a Kshatriya. It is his duty to fight. In fact, if Arjuna does not fight, he's going to get sinful reactions because he's not doing his duty. So some people who don't understand Krishna, who don't understand Bhagavad Gita, they make false claims that, oh, Krishna is going to get sinful reactions, or Arjuna is going to get sinful reactions because they fought this war. It's because they do not understand. They are misguided themselves. So that's why. So it's better to hear from the devotees who understand things. Even Brahmanas who perform different types of sacrifice, sometimes must kill animals because sometimes animals are sacrificed in such ceremonies. So this is not for Kali Yuga, because no animal sacrifice is recommended in Kali Yuga. This was in earlier yugas where Brahmanas would kill the animal by mantra, but they were killed by mantra, not by anything else. And that is to test the mantra and for the benefit of the performer of the sacrifice, for the benefit of everyone. And the animal who was sacrificed would get a higher body. He would either get a younger body or he would get a human body. So everyone was benefited by such sacrifices. Similarly, if a Kshatriya engaged in his own occupation kills an enemy, there is no sin incurred. In the 3rd chapter, these matters have been clearly and elaborately explained. Every man should work for the purpose of yajna, or for Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anything done for personal sense gratification is a cause of bondage. The conclusion is that everyone should be engaged according to the particular mode of nature he has acquired, and he should decide to work only to serve the supreme cause of the Supreme Lord. So no matter where we are, what position we are in, what nature we have, what work we like to do, we should just offer that result of that work to Krishna. Somehow or the other, connect that work to Krishna. And that is our perfection. And yeah. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yes.
So like that, we can be peaceful and satisfied. Otherwise, there'll be a lot of unrest. Let me do something that the other person is doing. The other person is looking so happy. Let me do it. But we have to see, do we have that nature? Do we have that capacity, capability? Do we actually have the desire to do the way that he does the things? We are just looking at the result. So the same result of happiness and satisfaction we can get by doing our own work. Yeah. So, because it's ordered by Krishna, Krishna is saying it. We just have to follow what Krishna says. But it makes sense what Krishna is saying. It's not even blind following. It's common sense. If we are really have a talent for something and we use our talent in a particular way, we are happy to do it. And then the result of that work is also very good. But whereas if we don't like to do something, we are grudgingly doing some professions or some work, then the result is also not good. We are unhappy, we are frustrated, we make everyone else frustrated. Yeah, so that's a practical way of saying it. So then we can stop here for today. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Hare Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you.
Great